Your hair, skin, and nails can say a lot about your internal health. Hair loss, poor nail quality, and skin issues are just signs of imbalances inside your body. Today's episode will focus on some of those contributing causes and what you can do about it. Joining me today is Sarah Burden, who is the Vice President of Education for a very popular supplement company called Life Seasons. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Well, thanks so much for being here today, because I wanted to bring you on to talk about a very popular topic that we always get questions about in our store, and that is hair, skin, and nails. What can you do for better hair, especially if you've got hair loss or breakage or whatever's going on? They're always trying to figure out what's the best thing, because in my view, it's always been bigger than just a biotin pill. Biotin was the old school way. Even though I know biotin's important for those issues, I just think it's such a much bigger picture to look at, because there's so many causes for hair loss or poor nail health and so forth. So today I wanted to bring you on to discuss all of this beautiful stuff and what really goes on when we have those issues. So let's start with some of the causes out there of hair loss. Let's start with hair loss first. What would you say are some of the biggest causes for hair loss?
Well, and I love that you say, biotin by itself isn't the complete answer, because it is one of the ingredients that people tend to know. And if somebody comes to a health food store for the first time and just tries biotin alone, they may not get the results they're looking for. And so they may come away disappointed or think that natural supplements don't really do anything when maybe they needed a more complex solution, right? So I love that you called that out right away. And this is a topic that's really close to my heart, because before I was in the natural supplements world, I got started in this industry in 2002. Before that, I worked in cosmetics. And so I was working at downtown Chicago department stores selling very expensive, $200 little jars of cream. And I remember distinctly this day, I was working at Barney's and a woman leaned across the counter because I still had acne, although I was selling this very high-end stuff. And she said, that it's more about what you put into your body than what you put on your body. And I was, in my early 20s and had never considered that before. And so she blew my mind and she said, you should go to the health food store down the street. And I went in and it was like a whole new world. I had never seen, the grind your own peanut butter machine or, spirulina. I had no idea what any of this was. And so when I started taking these supplements and saw the changes, I became a huge believer, and that's where I went with my life. So I know that these products can work, and I know this is a point of entry for a lot of people, because what we're showing on the outside is a reflection of what's going on inside, right? And so when we're unhappy with maybe a breakout or sagging skin or thinning hair, we want solutions, because people do, for good or bad, take a quick snapshot of us to determine our health, our age, our energy levels, right? If we're applying for a job, it reflects our internal nourishment. And so we do get that snap judgment from people. And so we want to put our best face forward, right? So some of the reasons someone might be experiencing hair loss can be related to thyroid function, right? A lot of people deal with what's called subclinical, thyroid dysfunction, where, all your lab work comes back normal, but you still are having some of the symptoms of underactive thyroid. It can be from, having children, having multiple children. It can come from, diets that are lacking in nutrients. It can come from stress levels being continually too high, because B vitamins are so important to hair, skin, and nails, right? That's where a lot of us are familiar with B vitamins being necessary for hair, skin, and nails. And our bodies are so smart. If there's a limited supply in our diet, our body knows we don't need healthy, thick hair and strong, healthy nails to survive. So that's the nice to have category. And our body will use those B vitamins for the essential functions for survival. So when there's not enough left over, those external things are what suffer. So when we can replenish those and some other key nutrients, we can get the outside looking like we want it to.
I totally agree. That's a great point you bring into it, Sarah. It's about what you put on the inside, right? What we're taking internally and how the body uses that. At Sunflower Shoppe, we've been doing hair analysis for many years, and because your hair is a great snapshot to what's going on the inside. To be able to look at minerals and heavy metals, especially because I know it's
Yes.
another reason for sometimes hair loss is out there, anemia.
Hmm.
My wife's been a
Hmm.
cosmetologist for 20 plus years, so I've seen a lot of hair cases over the years. And, it always
I'll
seems to
bet.
lead back to a few different reasons, I guess you could say. Hormones, like you mentioned, for sure, thyroid, definitely. But I always look at it as far as inflammation of the hair follicle for sometimes too as well, because so many people are dealing with inflammation. And so I think that's a big driving force, which goes back to what you said. It still brings in the need for more B vitamins or proteins and things that feed those follicles. And so, and
Hmm.
I look at a lot of labs too, and one of the biggest common denominators I see with associated to hair loss also is protein deficiencies. Not even able to
Yeah.
get that protein to where it needs to go because they got GI problems, autoimmune, indigestion, heartburn problems, whatever may be driving it. So I totally agree with you. There's multiple reasons that drive it. It's just, what can we do?
Hmm.
Where do you start with people when they're trying to have hair loss, when they're having hair loss issues?
Right. Well, when we can solve something that is an obvious underlying issue, right? Maybe this person does need some support for their thyroid, or maybe does need some support from some herbs that help calm excess inflammation. That's fantastic. And I love that Life Seasons has put so many of those things into the formula Beauty for hair, skin, and nails, because there's turmeric in this formula, and there's white tea, so we're going to get some of that anti-inflammatory action that you're describing. And it's a really comprehensive formula that covers a lot of those issues and helps provide the nutrients that our bodies need. So biotin, as a nutrient by itself, has been demonstrated to make you have a thicker hair shaft, right? So that helps with the appearance of thicker, fuller hair, and helps stimulate growth for hair. Have a shinier, strand of hair, helps that cuticle lay more flat so that you get that, glossy look. There have been human clinical studies to demonstrate that a nice fat dose of biotin can do that. The challenge is, so biotin is part of the B complex. It was originally vitamin H. I'm sure you know this, but I think this is such a cool part of the biotin story, that when vitamins were first kind of being isolated and standardized in a laboratory, in a scientific laboratory setting, and they were naming the vitamins as they found them. Biotin was originally called vitamin H for Hair und Haut, so hair and skin, by the German scientists who isolated it first. And then they later realized it was part of the bigger B complex, so it got kind of lumped back in with the B vitamins. But it is extremely helpful for building that healthy, thick hair, strong, glossy hair and nails. But by the time you take the amount of biotin you need to get to that therapeutic dose, if your body is looking for pathways to eliminate garbage, to take out the garbage, the cellular waste, the metabolic waste, the toxins that our body produces internally that need to be cleansed, throughout our digestive tract. If your skin is the path of least resistance, your body will push those waste products out through your face. And this happens so frequently that a lot of people have tried biotin at 5,000 or 6,000 micrograms in the past and given up because they broke out from it, because that was the pathway of elimination that their body saw as the path of least resistance, because maybe their bowels were really sluggish, maybe their kidneys weren't at peak performance, maybe they don't drink enough water, they aren't as regular, not having as much fiber, so they experienced a breakout. And what I used to hear all the time, especially from women when I was working in the aisles of health food stores, was, I tried that and then I broke out. That's the last thing I want to happen with a beauty product, right? So when I started with Life Seasons and I saw, looking from the top of the list, 6,000 micrograms, I actually got to ask our formulator, master herbalist Mike Corrigan, and I said, oh, what will I say when customers say this amount will give me a breakout? And he grinned and he said, that's why I included oat bran, flaxseed, milk thistle, nettle, red clover, to help direct all those metabolic wastes the direction that they should go, out through the kidney, liver, bowel channel instead of through your face.
So it helps support the detoxification pathways is what he's really doing. And that's why I love
Yes.
about what Life Seasons is done with this product Beauty is that you've hit it from multiple different angles. I mean, it's a lot of people have to take a lot of these ingredients separately to get the same job done. But
Mhm.
as we said in the beginning, there's so many multiple causes of hair loss in the first place. This product addresses many of those pathways, and that's what I really like about what they did with Life Seasons Beauty.
I think it's such a brilliant formula. That is one of the hallmarks of our line is that our, formulation team are really experts and they look at the reasons that you're having this symptom that brought you into the health food store and they're going in and correcting, from the inside out. So you also mentioned hormone balance. That's why there's saw palmetto in beauty. And saw palmetto is more often known as a men's herb, but
That's
you can
right.
explain probably better about how that works with blocking the action of the unhealthy version
DHT.
of
Yeah.
testosterone. Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
testosterone
So
converts to DHT, and that becomes a problem for women in hair loss. And so saw palmetto, even though, like you said, it was more known as a prostate formula for men because a lot of the same reasons of testosterone converting to estrogen. So saw palmetto is great at blocking that sort of that hair loss hormone in many ways. That's what we know it as.
absolutely. So for men or women, actually, this product really is a unisex product. Anyone can take beauty. It's marketed more as part of our women's line because women do a lot of the shopping in this category, but this is absolutely an appropriate formula for men too. But so for anyone who's sort of having their hair loss center in that sort of classic the male pattern baldness, but that affects women too when they have this issue. This really helps with that problem, no matter who's taking it.
You're exactly right. And another important ingredients that y'all added to the product was certain amino acids. I think you got
Mm-hmm.
histidine in there, you got cysteine. Can you just sort of describe the roles of why that's in the product as well?
Well, sort of like you mentioned, people having inadequate diets, inadequate absorption, not having those foundational building blocks. And what Mike Corrigan, the master herbalist, said was, we need all these sulfur containing products because sulfur is the beauty mineral, right? So we've got MSM, we've got these different amino acids, and so there are tons of sulfur containing compounds in this formula. So that is really the essential building block for hair, skin, and nails. The other cool thing about all these sulfur-rich ingredients is that it also helps with sort of tendons and muscles and ligaments. So this is also a great product for somebody who does a lot of bodybuilding, a lot of weightlifting, because the more muscle mass you build, often the trade-off is less flexibility. And so this sort of supplies a lot of the nutrients that go missing when somebody is focusing so much on building muscle mass. This can help a lot with that flexibility too, because of all those sulfur containing compounds.
Exactly. And that's what I like about those amino acids you put, which amino acids are your proteins. As we said earlier, some people are just protein deficient and not getting those
Mm-hmm.
proteins to where they need to go. So not only that, cysteine also helps with liver detox and detoxification because it can convert to glutathione. So it's got a lot of benefits in your liver pathways. I mean, a lot of women don't
Mm-hmm.
even know that 70% of their thyroid hormone is actually converted in the liver. So anything you do to help focus with liver health is going to help with hormones, particularly thyroid hormones in this case, which can actually help with hair too. So I really like the way you addressed a lot of these different nutrients in there.
It's such a brilliant formula. Well, and in traditional Chinese medicine, liver and skin are considered connected. The skin outwardly is a reflection of sort of what's going on with your liver because it is that filter of the body. So anything we can do to help clean and nourish, obviously the milk thistle is so well known for liver health, but will give you that added bonus of that reflection in your skin.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of those amino acids help with keratin production too, as well, right? Or,
Mm-hmm.
help
Mm-hmm.
give that
And so
luster to the hair. That's right.
that's right. So for nails and hair, that keratin is essential.
Very essential as far as that goes. And then you got horsetail in there, which helps supply what?
Eat silica, and silica is necessary for that shine and for skin, for kind of foundational, the structure that collagen is going to adhere to. And so for hair and skin and nails, we've got that rich source with that horsetail extract. I mean, a really incredible herb that's so nourishing. Horsetail you could drink as tea all day long every day, right, and just keep reaping all those mineral benefits. So that is a cool herb to be in the formula as well.
Yeah, and then you also added some kelp to it as well to get some natural source of iodine, which also is thyroid supportive. So you're getting a
That's
little
right.
micronutrients of everything to hit so many different angles, and that's why I think this is just an awesome product in itself. Have you heard about
It's
Dr.
really
Chi? Have you heard of Dr. Chi out of California?
Hang on one
It's
second.
okay. You have his
Do you
book,
mean
don't you?
Dr. G who wrote
Yes, I
this book?
know that book exactly. Dr. Chi is awesome. If could you hold that book up
Absolutely.
one more time so the viewers can see
Yeah.
that? I'm gonna put you full screen. That book itself right there, Dr. Chi's Fingernail and Tongue Analysis. It is an awesome book if anybody can get a copy of that, because it definitely
Yes.
does help identify a lot of different problems that are out there. I've used it in my practice for years now, and I'm still learning so much. Dr. Chi is just a fascinating guy, but he points out a lot of different things by looking at your nails and certain things on your skin and
Mhm.
your tongue. He can tell a lot of issues internally, what's going on in your body. So it's definitely a good book to pick up. But a lot of people come in asking about what do white spots on your nails mean? You know, it,
That's
go ahead,
exactly where I
Sarah.
was going to go next. That's so awesome. I suffered with white spots on my nails all the time before I changed my diet because I was such a sugar junkie. I thought a grande jamba juice was a great lunch and I was getting like 3 days worth of fruit all in one hit. So I chronically had the white spots on my fingernails, which I learned out meant zinc deficiency, and that zinc was kind of conversely related to sugar consumption. And so the more sugar I was eating, the more my body needed to use zinc to try to manage and balance that. So there wasn't as much left over. And one of the external signals I was seeing was the white dots on my fingernails. And so that is a great point. And that was one of the reasons I was so excited to see zinc, a really nice
That's
dose
right.
of zinc, 100% of your daily zinc in your serving of BUT. So so we've been talking primarily, women looking for hair, skin, nails. This is also great for teenagers. That's another big category of shoppers we see falling in love with this product. Teenage boys and girls who are dealing with sort of acne, they're eating a lot of junk food, they're going through, Starbucks with their friends, having a ton of sugar, and getting that, acne that is really bothering them. That nice dose of zinc makes such a healing difference for skin, especially for teenagers and young 20 somethings. So this formula helps with that too.
Yeah, that's what zinc is also used for making hormones. And so I know
Absolutely.
with COVID going on, most of us have been taking zinc for a year now, so we're probably not going to see as many white spots on people as we used to. But overall, it is important because you see them with kids all the time, and you see the white spots on their nails because as they're going through puberty and the changes and so forth, those white spots show up a lot because their hormones are changing, and that requires a lot of zinc by the body. So very, very important to
Absolutely.
always check for those little white spots on your nails. Those are usually a good indicator of zinc deficiency. In fact, I read an
And
article not long ago. They said that zinc, the white spots on the nails was a myth, but they have actually got studies now to back it up. They have a 2015 study to
it's no
show
good.
on PubMed, yeah, that it actually could be zinc. It could be magnesium and a few other mineral issues too, but zinc is usually the primary nutrient that it is. What about black lines,
Yeah.
Sarah? Do you know much about the black lines on the nails?
So black lines, I know that's an area of nail study that it's almost like when you start searching on the different online Google searches for your medical health issues, because it's like a black line could either mean you bonked your hand into the corner of your desk or you're dying. Some of the examples of what the black line, if it's kind of the running the length of the nail vertically, can be really disastrous, like heart issues, really serious things, or it can be a little broken blood vessel. So tell me more about what you've seen in your practice.
No, I totally agree. All that is correct what you said. Those are usually the worst case scenarios. I don't see as many of those, but black lines can also indicate usually GI health. So usually there's gut issues going on, whether it's just common heartburn or IBS or autoimmunity.
Mhm.
So it does relate
Mhm.
to a lot of the gut issues. At least that's what I've correlated a lot of them with when I look at clients' nails and see the little black lines. Always ask them, do you have any type of gut issue? And 9 out of 10 times it's yes. So it's pretty common
Absolutely.
as far as that goes. So again, you can
That's
find that type of information in Dr. Chi's book if y'all want to go out there and look at it. I think we can maybe be able to put a link below this video to connect you to
yeah,
the book or to some of the cheat sheets that are out there online. But it's an awesome book.
yeah,
Yeah, lots of pictures.
really good.
Exactly. And they even got a lot of things on your skin too there. Cherry
Hmm.
angiomas, right? A lot of women
The
especially
little
have
red
those little
spot.
red spots, usually on your abdomen or on the
Hmm.
forehead. And those usually can indicate estrogen dominance issues. There's a lot of other indicators, but I see it more associated with estrogen dominance. I don't know about you, Sarah. Do you see any other
Oh, interesting.
things with it?
So I know about the correlation with blood stagnation. And so that's always kind of the lens that I view that through, because so many women deal with, disrupted menstrual cycles or heavy clotting during their menstrual cycles, which are all also symptoms of that blood stagnation, that we don't have the free flowing movement and the circulation that we want. And so I always relate it back to that. But I'm sure that you're right with the estrogen dominance as well, because so
Well,
many women struggle with that.
exactly, you're right, because those symptoms you just mentioned, as far as blood clots seen in the first 1 or 2 days, or especially even constipation, usually the week prior to the
Mhm.
menstrual cycle, those are usually always
Mhm.
associated to estrogen dominance issues. Blood
You're right.
circulation,
You're
estrogen
right.
dominance, one and the same. And we also
Yes,
know that
you're right.
endometriosis, PCOS, those are also related to hair loss problems, and those are hormone disruptions usually caused by estrogen dominance for a lot of women. So it's
Right.
pretty cool how
Yeah.
everything is connected in the body, and your body does tell you what's going on. So look for those
Yes,
little
yes,
red spots or cherry angiomas on your abdomen or forehead, and that's usually a good indicator.
that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. So anything else for the skin that you added in the product? We got the
So
proteins, we
the
got the
white
liver and
tea.
detox pathways.
Anytime you drink green tea or white tea, it's the same plant as black tea, Camellia sinensis. So, Chinese tea. The black tea is oxidized before it is processed and prepared. And the white tea and green tea are not oxidized before they are processed and prepared. And so there are a lot of those antioxidants. And just from drinking a few extra cups of green tea or white tea, if you switch out your green tea for your coffee for green tea, often you do see kind of a glow in your skin. So there's that white tea in the formula as well. And the L-methionine, like you said, that really does help, even just with the acne, just with that sulfur containing compound. The chromium obviously will also help with blood sugar stability, and so we aren't getting the kind of sugar breakout issues as much. There's collagen in the formula, which everyone wants more collagen for more building support, and the MSM. And then those ingredients to help, move the liver, move the bowels, so that we're not getting the metabolic wastes and toxins purging out through the face.
Exactly. I mean, that again, I can't stress how important this type of product is, because you're hitting that inflammatory side, you're hitting the mineral side, you got the proteins and
Mhm.
amino acids that are involved in there. You're focused on the liver, kidneys, and all the detox pathways. So you've really hit some of the most major areas to help the body eliminate, to help deal with hair loss, skin issues, and nail problems. It's all in that one product, which is pretty cool.
It's a dynamite formula. And what's interesting with your wife being a cosmetologist? So Mike, the master herbalist, actually formulated this for his own wife, who was dealing with some of those issues. And it was her cosmetologist who first noticed that it was working. It was like in the beta testing stage. She was the guinea pig, right? Being married to a master herbalist, you're probably the guinea pig a lot. But it was, she was
Yes.
getting her hair washed at the salon, and her cosmetologist was like, girl, you have hair growth happening here. You have all kinds of baby hair coming through. And so that was how they knew it was really a winner.
That's awesome. Well, you also sent me a picture of a case study, basically, of a lady who was experiencing hair loss. I'll just put up
Mhm.
the picture and you describe what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so this is a mom. After she had her second kid and was nursing her second child, she really noticed quite a bit of hair shedding, more than is expected, because so many women love the phenomenon while they're pregnant of how thick and lustrous their hair gets. And that's both because they're usually taking a really great quality prenatal to help nourish the developing baby, but also because your body sort of holds on to hair more throughout pregnancy. So you have, an abundant, thick mane of hair, and then after the baby's born, everyone gets some degree of shedding, but depending on your nutrient levels and how much you are depleted, you might have more. And then during nursing, obviously, and like you and I were talking before we started, I've even noticed that when I was nursing, just not as much hair growth as normal, because that baby's getting all the nutrients from
Robbing
your
you.
breast milk. Yeah, exactly. In so many ways. No, but so this mom was having more than usual hair shedding, and like you can see, her hair was becoming fairly thin. You could see her scalp quite a bit. You can see under the foreside, and she was very self-conscious about it. So she talked to the staff at a health food store near the East Coast, and they connected her with Biotin from Life Seasons. And this, on the after side, this is what blew our minds. This is only 3 weeks of taking Biotin, which is really remarkable and phenomenal. And so when the store sent us that before and after, we were all blown away and amazed, because it's an incredible amount of regrowth and thickening in just a 3-week period. What we hear often from customers, and this was my experience too, at the 3rd month is when everyone really notices a dramatic difference. In fact, when my hair was longer, you knew me when my hair was long and all the way short. That's and right. Growing back out. But I was a couple of years back when I started taking Biotin, I was at my family's house for Christmas. We were all playing charades, and I got up to take my turn, and my aunties and my mom said, "Time out, start before you start. Did you get hair extensions? How do you have so much hair right now?" And it was my 3rd bottle of Biotin. And so I had to let them feel and see that it was all really my hair.
So about they did not believe it, did they?
Honestly, they were tugging and checking to see, but it's really a noticeable difference after the 3rd month.
Well, like I said, Life Seasons just put together a formula that feeds all 3 of those major areas to some of the most common problems associated to why you got hair loss or skin problems in the first place. So I'm definitely impressed with the product, and I could not believe that picture was 3 weeks difference, because that's pretty amazing. It really is. But yeah. With all the clients I've recommended it to, I'm hearing great case studies on it too as well. They're getting great results all across the board. So that's why I wanted to bring you on today and tell me more about it, because I think more people need to hear about this and how good it's helping many people.
It's an incredible formula. And, like you said, knowing that it's really nourishing and correcting those underlying imbalances, the underlying health challenges that give us that visible side effect that we don't like, but we're actually correcting it and managing it from the inside out. We could go get hair extensions, right? But if our hair continues to thin and continues to thin, that's that Band-Aid approach versus going in and actually feeding the body what it's missing, helping bring balance to some of those hormone processes, or, the cellular metabolic waste that are accumulating and coming through our skin because our bowels are backed up. So really correcting the underlying issue rather than just masking it is a nice thing to do.
Working from the inside out, right? That's the way we should be treating health in many ways. Yeah. Sarah, you are awesome as always. Thanks so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
It's a blast. Anytime. I can't wait to come back and talk to you about more products.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Healthy Approach Podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you like this podcast, and please help us spread the word by rating and sharing with your friends and family. If you'd like to learn more about what you can do for your hair, skin, and nails, go to sunflowershoppe.com, that's shop with 2 P's and an E, or visit us at one of our 2 locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.